back.
Yeah.
How you feeling, mate?
Best day of my life.
Best day of your life. Every day, best day of your life. At least you've got the opportunity.
I gotta try, you know.
Yeah. So we were talking earlier in the head-to-head, and I was gonna ask this question, but as I thought, let's just talk a little bit about your. In fact, first, before we do that, let's do some quick-fire, rapid questions.
Ooh.
Are you ready?
As ready as I can be.
Right.
I still didn't warm up
I'm
in
not
English,
ready, because I've only just decided to do this. But we've got to give you hook top row press,
press.
flop wrist or king's move,
Ooh, flop.
strap, no strap,
Strap.
leg days.
Hey, my favorites, but I don't do them.
You enjoy leg days?
Yeah.
Yeah? Tournaments or super matches?
Super matches.
Least favourite arm wrestler?
Me.
Yourself? Is that because you just want to, you're seeking improvement all the time, or?
It's because I don't know who else to say. No, I don't know if I have anyone in that.
Oh, I've just got word, 1 minute. Yeah, just got word from the office. You can't say yourself. You've got to say someone else.
Fuck, who should I say then?
New rule, it's just come in.
I say Mindaugas Starsitis because he's the biggest cunt.
You can do that. What it says there? Least favourite arm wrestler.
Oh.
I knew you were going to say it. Favourite arm wrestler? It's an easy
Favorite arm
question.
wrestler. It's a tie, John Brzenk and Devon Larratt, probably.
Yeah, okay. We don't usually allow ties, but
Then Larratt.
it's a
I think I Larratt. I like him.
short-term goals.
One more time, please.
Short-term goals. Well, short-term and long-term goals, but let's start with short.
Short-term goals. Winning against one of my idols, Frode Haugland.
Cool, which is this weekend. So
But which weekend is it?
it will be the 16th of
So
September. Short-term, so your long-term goals.
in arm wrestling,
Yeah.
becoming a world champion, WAF.
Yeah.
That's like my ultimate goal.
You've got to go to WAF though
Yeah.
to win it. And what's happening right now?
So I have a little problems with our association, but let's not talk about
Let's
that, please.
breeze over that. Trash talk or sportsmanship?
Sportsmanship, for sure.
And when you go to the table, are you testing yourself or are you fighting your opponent?
I think that's like a layer answer, because you're testing yourself in reality, but by testing yourself, you're fighting someone. So I guess the answer is testing yourself, but in the process, you're fighting someone.
Okay, so A, but you have to do B to achieve A.
Yeah,
Rest or active recovery?
active recovery,
Unquestionably.
unquestionably.
Why?
I guess I'm not here, but usually I'm pretty active. Like I don't like some people are resting, but I have to force myself to rest before the competition or like that. Like 2 days before the competition, I still want to train, and I really need to force myself to not do something. So I usually when I have a time, I'm always training.
Yeah. Well, you'd think the gym would be the most popular space at an arm wrestling tournament. Nobody comes in here. Everybody's resting.
Yeah,
it's very
it's too close to the match, so everybody
Yeah.
wants to. Maybe they come in for 5 minutes to just pump blood, and they run away.
Well,
I guess all of the guys have it similar to me, so they can't really be here for too long.
yeah, I think Minor is the only guy that I've seen actually do a full workout.
But he's crazy, so that's another thing. Yeah.
Strength, speed, technique, stamina. Rank them.
Strength, speed, technique, stamina. Strength number 1, technique 2, speed, stamina.
Okay. So why strength over technique?
I guess if you're strong enough, it doesn't matter. If I mean, you have to have some sort of technique that you have to know what you're doing, right? If you're not talking about complete.
It depends. If you're strong enough here.
Yeah, if you know what you're doing, kinda, and you're strong enough, then it doesn't matter that you have a John Brzenk technique. You're gonna lose anyway. we are still mainly strength sport, even though it's like a weird combination. It's like a little chess game on the table, but it's still strength sport.
Precisely. So now rate yourself, your strength, your speed, your technique, your stamina, out of 10.
Compared to what? In my weight class or overall?
Whatever you want to do. Rate yourself. Your final form, maybe. I don't know.
Final for me, it's 11.
Yeah, but right now?
Right now, compared to me when I was my best, or what I'm comparing to?
Is your final form in the future or the past?
Then all 10s, if it's my future.
You can compare it to whatever you want. You can either put it in. How happy are you with your strength?
Okay.
Maybe that's
okay.
what people usually do.
Like
if you're like
1 to 10.
1 to 10. Yeah.
Strength 8.5. What was the next? Speed. 7.
Technique.
8.
Are you basing that on being a fantastic presser?
No.
Or your overall?
My overall.
Overall game.
I just don't show that much, but I would consider myself technical puller.
Yeah.
It's not really that visible because I'm mostly pressing, but most of my training on the table is more studying of the movements and encountering my training partners and everything like that. So I usually can't. That's why I always say, like, it's just a matter of tries. I always find the hole. Because there is always a way, you just have to find it. Yeah. Or you're just so weak that you can't really do nothing, as we said before.
Yeah, you're too strong. Strong. Stamina.
You know what, right now I'm gonna give myself 7.5.
Okay. Why?
I feel like now I'm pretty good stamina-wise.
All right. So based on those numbers that you've given us, which sound quite modest, do you think one day you'll hit 10s in all of those things?
Probably not, but I will be aiming for it.
Yeah. Okay. Just so we know where them levels are. So, why arm wrestling, mate?
Why arm wrestling?
So,
for me, it's a complicated story. You're gonna open a box, big box. So I used to be a gymnast. I used to do a lot of martial arts and stuff like that. And when I was 16, 17, 18, somewhere in those ages, somewhere in between, I don't remember exact date, I broke my vertebrae in my back, and I had to stop with gymnastics training and all the flips and kicks and stuff like that.
And you've been doing all this since I
was a kid, yeah. So I stopped for a few months. I spent 2 months in like a healing facility, and when I came back, I came to the school, and the very first week that I came back, there was a guy. He was doing some project for his college. And he was arm wrestler. He was a national champion in Slovakia back then. Not that I know that was a sport back then, but yeah, he was a national champion. And he just took a couple kids from every class, and he was doing like weird tests, weird exercises that we never seen before. We didn't even arm wrestle. We just did some weird things. Like now I understand it, but back then it was just like, what the fuck we were doing? And I guess he liked me. He asked me.
But you knew he was an arm wrestler.
No, I didn't. He introduced himself as, but I never knew. I mean, at that moment, I knew he's arm wrestler, but I didn't know him before. I didn't know.
You knew that these exercises must be related to arm wrestling in some way, but
like
you don't know
he
what
explained
you're doing.
It like this is for arm wrestling. I'm gonna track progression. Half of you is not gonna do them. Half of you is gonna do them. And at the end of this period, we're gonna like basically he gave us a training system. He was showing that you can progress in arm wrestling specific exercises, and that will make you better on the table. So we did the one sparring session the first day, then we didn't do nothing, and then the last day, and he was comparing if we, like the guys that train the specific movements, they should beat the guys that they were either close to.
Okay, so he was doing his own little.
Yeah, it was just some project for him, right?
Yeah.
And he asked me to come to his training place, and I stuck. So. That's how I started. I guess for me, what was weird about it, because in that time I really didn't know what I'm gonna do. Because imagine this, like you're that guy, you're that parkour martial arts guy, like that. All of your friends, all of the community that you go to, all the trainings, all your free time is pushed towards that thing, right? And now it's gone.
Yeah.
You know, so that for me that was like a new start, like something gave me like,
But how,
here I have another go.
How mature was you at that age? I mean, how much did it mess with your head, and how conscious was you when this arm wrestling came along? Did you go, this could be the thing, or did you just go, I quite enjoy this, I'll keep doing it, or what?
So I guess the first time, I remember the exact moment I knew I'm gonna stick to it. Like
Okay.
there was because when I started the match of Giannis and Justin Bishop in America was already on the internet, so it must have been something of the.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't WL. It was before that. It was UAL.
Oh right, yeah.
WL wasn't around back then. And I remember watching it, and I'm like, Justin Bishop lost at the end, but I was like, this fucking guy is so cool. Like one day I want to be that level. I want to meet this guy. I want to have a match with him. And that's when I got like deep into it, and I found Devon Lara, Travis Bajent, Frode Haugland. Frode was around back then. It was one of the first Arm Wars matches. I watched all of it, and I was like, I was at that moment I became obsessed. And that was right, like it wasn't the exact day, but it was like maybe 2 weeks inside of that, and I knew like this is it.
Nice. So you would have been what, 14, 15 at this point? 15?
No, I was somewhere between, because I broke it and I didn't go to that facility right away. So I was maybe 17, let's say 17.
Okay.
Because it was somewhere in between that.
Yeah.
On the brink of 17 and 18, something like that.
Nice. A good age, really good age to get into the sport. You're starting to get a bit of testosterone about you.
Yeah, and maybe it would be better to be a little sooner, but it's good. I work with what I have. It's pretty good still.
What I have.
It's not dirty, you know. So.
No. So let's talk a bit about the press. Why the press? What do you think it is about you, your structure, the way your aggression, your fast twitch? What do you think it is about you that makes your ace move the press?
So the thing is, so I know where it came from. All the power in the press was already there from well, at least that's my theory, but I'm pretty sure it's that from the gymnastic training, from the rings and the dip bar with the weight and stuff like that. So all the power that generates in that press, that's holding it together from the chest through the elbow, was already there. I just never used it in that way, right? And when I came to the table with Tomáš Kozlka was the name of the guy, he was trying to teach me top rolling and stuff like that, but it never really came to me naturally. But in the matter of maybe second, third session, I could already press him, and he was national champion.
Wow.
So that's somehow like probably egotistical.
Yeah.
But I was still a kid, so I went down that road because I was winning those matches, you know. Even though I didn't know back then that it's probably the worst technique to start with. But I invested the most time in it.
But if you've already got the strength there, if you've already got the integrity.
Yeah, but you're prone to injuries much more than if I just stuck with the top roll and maybe lose another year or two extra.
But that's what I'm saying. If you've already got the integrity there, the strength there, you're not going to get injured as much as a green guy just going, somebody plays football.
Well, compared to somebody who doesn't have it, yeah. And I was safer, but still, it's probably technique that's putting you in the places that you can injure you the most, you know.
Well, let's talk a bit about injuries then, because you must have had some injuries.
I had actually just one injury from the press. Like at the beginning, I had the usual aches, you know, of the arm wrestler. Like I couldn't drink this because I would just try to pick it up and the whole fucking thing would just shake.
Yeah.
But I can recall just one injury from the pressing, and I was in the Arnold Classic, and I jumped in the press, guy hooked me, and as he was trying to pull me out, I felt from the pad, but it wasn't like the move of him pulling me out. It was when I felt from front of the pad, it just like overstretched, you know what I mean? Like I hit the table and it just, and from that point on I just felt it in my elbow, it just got swollen, and I actually have that till this day. I never got rid of it. Like I feel it sometimes when I overdo like the side pressure stuff. I still feel that place.
Yeah, even in training, if you.
Yeah, if I overdo it, it's usually not from the exercises, just on the table.
Okay.
But that place I still feel.
Yeah.
And that's 6-7 years maybe.
That's not bad though, is it? Just one injury.
Yeah. Well, I had
for a presser.
I didn't know it, but I had a broken bone in my elbow also. But doctor found it out after it was already healed.
No, right.
Yeah.
So you probably did that way early on.
Yeah. So I went to competition once, and that was like for a while I had a problem of, because as we were talking before, like I'm pretty good. If the match stops, I'm usually like, okay, this is mine. Like I know if the match stops, usually I'm just calm because I know that eventually I will bring it back. And I had like maybe half a year where just that wasn't the case. Like I was stopping people, but from there on it was just like shutting my arm off, you know? So I went to the doctor and I did the scans and stuff, and he was like, that's where he found it. Like you had a broken.
You got a broken elbow, mate. Yeah.
But that actually might be the thing from the arm also, because I never got it checked.
Yeah. When you're referee's grip, let's talk about referee's grip. So you prefer a referee's grip, even though as a presser, surely there's more chance of the referee kind of getting in your way on the ready go.
Yeah.
Yeah, why? Is it not better for you to, if you can get a grip outside of the referee's grip?
Let's put it this way, I don't want. For me, it would be better if there was just one set grip where we start fair. Like arm wars watchers probably won't agree with this, but I'm always trying to have as fair as possible setup. Mm-hmm. That's why when I come to the table, I always ask up front, like, let's go for a rest grip. If he doesn't want it, I can force it in there if I want to. But if we try to grip up and I feel like he's not taking too much, then I'm okay with it, right? Yeah. And as you said, that's better for me because I can be higher, I can do more, and I'm not the referee is not that much in the way for me. Mm-hmm. But if I feel like for example with Mindaugas, right? It's a lot of, when I'm trying to set up my press, I'm telegraphing it a lot, right? But when you're setting up with someone who is a top roll expert and on his caliber, you don't really see all the movements he does here, right?
Yeah.
So it might sound like silly when I say like we need a referee's grip or something like that, but
he's slowly trying to get deeper.
So it's just a matter of fairing it as much as possible. I'm never trying to get advantage. I just don't want my opponent to have a much bigger advantage than me.
Yeah.
So that's why I always try to go for referee's grip. It doesn't matter. I lose a little bit, but my opponent it's at the same level as me. So I guess that I'm okay with that.
I always admire people like yourself and Darren, even though I have to sit through and edit it, and I'm like, oh, here we've got another restart. But I do admire how you don't let the pressure of, the ref just wants to get this thing going. Quite often, your opponent just wants to get this thing going. It might have been going on for 45 minutes. You and Tom, 45-minute match that.
Yeah.
45-minute match.
But again, that also plays in my card.
Does that pressure come into your head at all? This is taking ages.
And also, to be honest, the Tom match is probably the most that I ever enjoyed hand wrestling. I lost the match, but that was the most fun experience of my fucking life.
Yeah. You hogged the stage.
It would be better if it stopped somewhere and we had a war. That would be the only thing that could top it off. But it was good. Yeah. Because this was like a sniper match,
Yeah. Whoever got it won it. It was a fantastic match, and. And sometimes some of the pins are even too quick for the ref to see.
Like the fifth one that he hit me with, I never been hit with something like that. That was like a fucking shotgun.
It was fast.
The one that I asked to rewatch because I didn't that was fucking hard.
Yeah, is that the one where you slip? You managed to slip out.
No. That was that also was. No, that was a good slip. That was a good.
There was a pin.
No, the one before that.
Yeah. Oh, the one before it. Yeah. Yeah, it can be aggressive, but you can only do that so many times. Do you know what I mean? Because if he'd have gone to do that again the next round, you would have been ready for it, and he would have gone for it, and he would have been out of position, and then. So yeah, but I suppose the thing with the press is a lot of certainly novices when you come into the sport, you kind of taught, well, even if you do have a press, save it for when you need it, because you can only fire that bullet so many times. And what really admires, obviously you've got to admire guys who just are pressers, and they will go out there and they will press 6 rounds in a row if they need to or get to. Do you not, what's the fatigue like?
I think
it's different fatigue as well.
It's different, but for me, at the beginning I felt it, but right now it's the same thing as we spoke about. Like, you don't really see pressers that didn't have previous training that somehow forced them to start with the pressing. Like Jerry Caderet is big bencher, right?
Yeah.
So he had predisposition for that style, and as me, he probably just started with it, and it worked better than top row, so he was just doing it, and his body just got used to it. So in that way, like what you're saying is right. Like if somebody is mostly training the orthodox arm wrestling, let's call it, then he has much better stamina and understanding of those movements. Whereas if they just need to fire the press from time to time, then they don't really have it built like that. But for me, it doesn't really tire. Only thing that's tiring.
Well, no, I wasn't necessarily talking about tiring, because I think you're using less muscles because you're using your body, using your shoulder, you're using your frame more. But it's the wearing on the joints. Where a top roller might get to the end of the match and just the lactic acid and the pump and everything, or a hooker, and the pump and everything's mega. But with a presser, is it not more your joints that are extra achy? Or
if I don't go through, if the match stops, and worse, if somebody pulls me, if the deeper I get, if somebody stops me and pulls me out of there, then I'm fucked. Like if somebody just stops me down from the pad and pulls me like through me, not through the
stretches
wrist.
you.
If somebody just go through me, then that option is done immediately.
Yeah, and no more pressing from there on.
No, if somebody just pulls me out from there like that, I can't do it no more. And I know I can't go through for sure.
I suppose it's the same as a top roller, getting the wrist taken.
Yeah, it's like, I guess similar. If the wrist goes once, it's probably gonna go again.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, okay, lovely. I think that about wraps us up, mate. Is there anything else you want to talk about?
I don't know. How are you?
I'm all right. I'm not very well, actually, mate. Let's talk about your journey in arm wars, and where you're at the moment. Tell us about your journey at arm wars. If I'm obviously not arm wars, and
my journey at arm wars.
So what do you say to your family when they say, or you know what you're doing? You go, well, there's this promotion arm wars that I pull with.
So my family doesn't really understand, I guess, the whole and why I'm doing it. You know, it's the usual, how much money they pay and how much and stuff like that. But it's we don't do. I mean, the money is nice, right? But we don't do it because of it, right? When Neil calls me, hey, you want to pull with August Starsitis in arm wars, you don't say no, right? It's one of the greatest, the organization, one of the greatest. So it's yes immediately. You don't even ask. So
yeah, especially if you can put some pain into a little wanker like that.
Yeah.
We'll try not to swear,
didn't put enough, but I will get there. I will get there.
Yeah. He's an interesting character, is old Minder. So yeah, but arm wars. So how do you see your journey at the moment? You faced quite a few guys now. You've had some amazing matches, awesome matches. Unfortunately, just been on the wrong side of the end result, really. Yeah. You and Tom, it could have gone either way. I don't think Tom would have been disappointed if he'd have lost the match. Yeah.
So if you look at that match, like, I don't think it should go through the slip. I think he got that was supposed to be a pin. Yeah. In the 7th round, the slip, I don't think it should go. But we got in the strap. Then I pinned him, but there was a call on foul on me, which when I rematched it, I don't think it was a good call also, because as I was pinning him, he just dragged me out of the table. He was down already, and he just dragged me out, and I got the foul.
Yeah, but you come off the front, and he come off the back, didn't he?
Yeah, but he came out first. He was already down, and then I was spinning him. He just did he just dragged me down. So I would maybe switch that one for me. But then again, we did it again, and he pinned me. So it was really like we were just switching it. So yeah, it was a great match. So that was just what you were saying. Like Tom probably wouldn't be mad because the result could be anything in that day.
Yeah, it was so close. It's unbelievable. Tell us about the culture of for people who don't understand arm wrestling. You can beat a guy on one day, the next day he beats you. Taking a loss in arm wrestling, it's not like taking a loss in boxing. It's not even like taking a loss in MMA because there's so many ways you can lose in MMA. It's less important than boxing. Boxing, you lose, you've got a long road to come back.
Yeah.
MMA, it's not too bad. Three or four fights, you can be back where you was. But in arm wrestling, literally every match, you can lose 20 matches, win one match, and you're back up. Everyone's talking about you.
So for me, I'm always,
again.
At least in arm wars, I always, even though I lost, like my entering match was against Mindaugas Tarasaitis, which is lighter guy than me, but he's the greatest, right?
Yeah.
Or top 3 maybe in that weight. And then all of the rest were heavier dudes than me. So for me, the losing to them, I don't think it really harmed my progression that much. And if I can make something out of that match, I think that's even better. I mean, it would be great to win that match, and I always set up to win those matches, but it just wasn't my day, I guess. I have to work harder to beat them next time, but I don't think the losing to them is harming me that much.
No, because at the end of the day, it's a testament that you're being matched against guys who are bigger and heavier than you, because that is basically what Neil's saying. I don't really have a guy that around your weight that I think is going to be good, but I have this guy heavier than you who's also, a top level arm wrestler, but I think you two would be a good match.
Yeah.
So that is, that in itself says something.
Yeah.
If he's matching you up weights, keeps matching you up weights, whether it's win, lose, whatever, great match. Yeah. That says something within itself.
Yeah. So the match with Frode, it's kind of like, it's probably I had a Maynard is probably similar weight than me.
Yeah.
But Frode is probably, he's a little heavier than me, but that we are inside of 5 kilo difference maybe.
Right.
So that may be good.
Yeah. I can't wait for this.
Yeah.
Why do you think he loses?
Because I'm so good. No, listen, Frode, when I was explaining to my girl like why I need to, because Neil called me last minute again, like it was really a matter of I'm going or not going, right? So, and I told my girl, listen, this guy is like top 5 of my favorite arm wrestlers. It's not like maybe if it was Mindaugas, I would still say yes, but this is a little different to me because I really love Frode. All his matches are great.
Yes.
He's a fucking legend,
Yeah, and there's a lot of people who want to pull him.
Yeah.
So
it's a big privilege for me to get I know I'm probably a replacement for somebody else that might happen,
him and Ray have been like meaning to come back and meet at some point for ages, forever. So we've been intending to make that match for a while, and we thought it might be at this one.
Yeah.
But then Ray come and did Battle of the Capital.
So Fate struck me with a chance.
What?
Fate gave me a chance.
Fate, yeah, I suppose.
And now I need to make.
You would have faced him eventually anyway.
Well,
no doubt. You hang around arm wars. At some point, you're going to get faced Frode.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah.
So hopefully it's going to be a good fight.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if not, then hopefully it's going to be a bad fight, but we win 6-0. Go down.
Well, I just hope it's a quick match. I hope it's not 45 minutes. I think it'll be very different to you and Tom, because you and Tom are both very, that setup is everything. It's not about, okay, let's just go and let's work it out from there. Where Frode is a bit more, okay, let's just get into it, and then we'll work it out. We'll arm wrestle.
Yeah, I'm actually just joking. Like, I know it's not smart, but I would love to be a war. Like, those are the best matches, right? But with Frode especially, it gives me a big disadvantage. Yeah. That's the one thing. Like, if the match stops, he's usually the winner. Like, for me, I know, I just said the same thing. Like, if the match stops, I feel great. But he's probably...
He feels greater.
Yeah, he's probably a little better in it too, Yeah. He had so many of those, so yeah, but it's not the smart way. I guess.
Well, this is arm wrestling, mate. Who knows?
Yeah.
You might get into an hook war with him, and
So for sure,
you might beat him.
if I will be blessed enough that I'm gonna be up in the scorecards, I will try to put in a hook for sure.
Yeah.
So we actually met once before, and I did the same thing, but none of us was fresh. So
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard to judge, isn't it, when you're not fresh?
yeah,
Very difficult. Mate, thank you very much, and
thank you.
can't wait till tomorrow.